It's August 2012, and we're here 2.5 years after the earthquake, looking at the conditions families find themselves in. I'm standing here on the slab of what used to be a reinforced concrete and masonry home, traditional Haitian construction that failed terribly during the earthquake. Throughout Châtelet, you will see slabs like this where families once lived, and then you will see how families live now. For many families, informal settlements and makeshift shelters remain their only source of housing. A family of 10 huddled together in a makeshift shelter like the one behind me, waiting for some roadmap, some way out of this condition. This story is told throughout Haiti in the path of the earthquake. For some, they've been fortunate. They've received a temporary shelter from a program, such as the plywood shelters you see behind me. But even these shelters, in the heat and conditions here in places like Leogane Haiti, won't hold up for long.
She has many problems in that shelter because it has mosquitoes in it and it is not solid. She thinks one day, not a long time, okay, she will live outside with the children. When it's raining, the problem, when we stand, okay, it's like inside of here, okay, that at night, okay, it is shake. Okay, when it's on, okay, it shake. Okay, I want to show you how the plastic is, and when people outside, they can see inside of.
A lot of Haitian people put blocks in their shelters because a lot of people, when they sleep, they break into people's houses.
And so Jean has proven a great point. What they have is not better than what they had. So there's a family of 10 people living in these conditions since the earthquake. They have 2 beds, a roof that leaks, walls that can be cut through, and a frame that shakes every time the wind blows. These are no conditions for any family to live. For the families that do have resources and are tired of these conditions, they've begun to rebuild. You can see the home in the background there, already 2 stories standing. That's a family with significant resources. But the sad truth is they are reconstructing in the same way that brought their original house down on that exact same site. 6 months after the earthquake, a mason who was formally trained in France post-quake to learn better practices for making earthquake-resistant masonry began the reconstruction on this site. There were still poor materials and still the same fundamental vulnerabilities: a lack of beams, a lack of proper reinforcement in the walls, and still dramatically under-reinforced columns. This story shown here, is being repeated throughout Leogane. And it proves to us that training, though well-intentioned, is not enough when oversight is lacking, and more importantly, for many of the families here, when resources are scarce. Families lack alternatives. They lack options and solutions that can give them safety at an affordable price. So what does that mean? Families remain camped out around the remnants of the homes they once lived in, or they begin to erect the unsafe homes that proved deadly 2.5 years ago. As Engineering2Empower, we want to find affordable and safe solutions for these families to get out of these conditions and even avoid conditions like the ones going up behind me, so they have a safe future when the next quake comes.